I'm the dude. So that's what you call me.
Are you a virgin?
Yeah, not since I was 10.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Come on to the coast. We get together, have a few laughs.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Can I return it if it doesn't fit?
It always fits. Eventually.
Welcome back to Movie Mingle. I'm Caveman.
And I'm Maggie.
And today we're on episode number 68. And Maggie and I just watched Shrek 2.
Ta-da!
We previously watched the first Shrek episodes ago. I don't remember which episode that was. It was
a while back.
It was a while
It's been a hot minute. I was excited to watch Shrek 2 having finished Shrek 1. And then in the ages between, I was sort of just like, oh, wait, what happens in Shrek? Not that I really needed a refresher. We all know what happened in Shrek.
We all know what happened in Shrek. And so now here, the same team that brought us Shrek
Mostly.
came back for Shrek 2. Yeah, mostly. One of the three directors of the first one, the main guy, Andrew Adamson, was the main director of one. And now he came back for this one. Usually on these animated projects, they have multiple directors because they're all responsible for multiple different parts of the animation project all coming together. Joe Stillman also came back as a writer and Andrew Adamson and Joe Stillman wrote part 2 together. The other two writers from Shrek 1 didn't come back for this one.
Ted Elliott and Terry Rosario.
Yeah. And then but Kelly Asbury and Conrad Vernon joined the team.
Hello, I am Conrad Vernon.
They came into the team to help direct. Just as a refresher, Andrew Adamson, the director, he wrote and directed the first Shrek, directed the first 2 Narnia movies. Kelly Asbury directed Spirit, Romeo and Juliet, Smurfs: The Lost Village, and Ugly Dolls.
Oh boy.
Has mostly worked as an artist through storyboards and additional animation, and he's been a key animator since the 80s. Just another one of those animators that they're like, hey, you've been an animator for a long time. You want to take the helm and help direct a major animated motion picture, and not just a straight-to-video animated picture.
Yeah.
Conrad Vernon, the third director, you'd know him because he's the voice of the Gingerbread Man, or Gingy. He also directed Monsters vs. Aliens, Sausage Party, and both Addams Family movies with Oscar Isaac. Of course, the original Shrek book was written by William Steig. It was published in 1990. If you want to know more about that, listen to Shrek 1. You'll get more backstory on William Steig. Not a lot more, but a little bit more.
Yeah, enough. Makes you feel like you were a part of the episode, Shrek 1.
Joe Stillman, the returning writer for Shrek 2, co-wrote the screenplay with Andrew Adamson. Stillman wrote 22 episodes of Beavis and Butthead, plus Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Fuck, I love that movie.
And he wrote the screenplay for Jack Black's Gulliver's Travels.
Is it a goddamn? Sorry, I fucking love Beavis and Butthead Do America. I remember when that movie came out, how excited my family was for it. Like, we went as a family to go see Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Only your family.
Only my family. I vividly remember, being in, first, maybe second grade, and hearing my family in the TV room, which was also my parents' room. My parents kept the TV in their bedroom.
Oh, of course.
And they were all laughing hysterically. And when I went in, I was playing by myself in the living room, and I went in to see what they were doing. They were like, Maggie, this isn't for you. And they shooed me out of the room, even though my brothers were a year.
Well, yeah, one of them's a year older than you.
Yeah,
the other one's
and
two
then 2 years
older
than me. But they could watch it.
Yeah, it was
but
fine
they were
for them.
like, Maggie, no, you're 7. You can't watch Beavis and Butthead. But the thing is that what my dad had done, he had cut a hole in the wall out of their bedroom so that he could overlook what was going on in the living room. Of course he did. So I sort of snuck over to the hole in the wall where I could see the TV and hid behind the desk and watched it that way.
Nice.
But yeah, that's my first memory of Beavis and Butthead. Fuck, I would love to get high and watch Beavis and Butthead Do America. I bet that's so much fucking fun.
I bet it's insane.
Yeah.
Music was done by Harry Gregson Williams.
Yep.
127 projects since
We
the
have
early
talked
90s.
about him before. He's done a thing or
A
three.
lot of TV movies. Yeah, we talked about him. Replacement Killers, Ants, Any of the State, some classic animation like Chicken Run or Spy Kids. All four Shrek films.
Yeah.
Team America World Police.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
always a nice one. Of course, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. So he's worked with the director. Great composer. Tons of movies under his belt.
Oh,
and,
so many. Yeah.
just it seems like he's just that guy to go to when you need something that's not like... I was about to say not really like... Doesn't need to be like this big Oscar-winning stuff, but he's also done some
great
shit. No, he absolutely has.
I mean, fuck, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe
Yeah,
score is
great music.
Incredible. I mean, The Battle, which plays over The Battle at the end of the film, is like one of my top 5 favorite writing songs of all time. Like, I've listened to that song countless times. So, like, yeah, we adore the Gregson Williams brothers in this house. Like, long may they reign. They're definitely in probably my top 10 favorite composers. Because eventually I'd have to start rounding it out with other people.
Letterboxd has it at a 4.1 out of 5. Metascore is at a 75. And it has a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Which brings it to an average of 78%.
Okay.
Which isn't a bad score for this movie.
No.
I don't think. It's about right. Like it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid sequel story-wise, but I have to admit that they tend to rely a little bit too heavily on the references.
Yes, there's a lot of
Every
fairy
joke.
tale.
It's not just fairy tale. It's the modern world. It's making fun of Disney. It's making fun of like so many different things.
Sure.
This movie is a little heavy. It's very heavy-handed. The part that I think that we all enjoyed of Shrek, which was, it pokes fun at the fairy tales, and it's, it pokes fun at like fun little like Disney references and little things. And you're like, oh, okay. And then I felt like they took all of that and turned it up to 11 for this film. Which, on the one hand, there are parts that really work, and on the other hand, it's distracting. Like, it gets to the point where you're like, all right, guys, like, and now we're referencing Ghostbusters, and now we're referencing Faulty Towers, and now we're, now we're referencing Starbucks. Like, it got to be a
lot
little
of references.
too much.
Yeah.
And I feel like they coasted a lot on that. But... people ate it up like a motherfucker. People were like, oh, yay! Like, oh, did you see that? That's a Starbucks reference.
Well, it's interesting that it got a 69% on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience when the movie was made for $70 million.
Oh, this movie made so much money.
That's pretty low budget.
Yeah,
$70 million
$70
for a 2004 movie compared to what animated movies are. 20 years later.
Yeah,
I know inflation, but still, they throw
not just
so
inflation,
much
but
money
also
at movies,
cast
animated.
and like, I mean, this was one of the last animated films to be put out on VHS. Like, times are changing, and Toy Story and The Incredibles and Shrek, the first, were really, they really helped that, right? Like, they helped move the art form forward to a modern age. So I'm not surprised that it was made for $70 million, because that was back when they could make it on the cheap.
Well, that was definitely made on the cheap, because for Shrek 2, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz went from getting $350,000 doing their voice work in the first movie to getting $10 million each.
Ooh. So they made the movie for $40 million?
That means $40 million went to the movie.
I'm sorry, Cameron Diaz made $10 million for this movie?
Yes.
She's barely fucking in it.
She is barely in it.
God damn.
But that's what happens when your name is attached to a movie, and the first one was a huge hit,
Diaz,
and they want you to come back, and they will give you...
Yeah.
I appreciate that all three of them got equal pay.
Yeah,
I mean, that
is fantastic. It's not like Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy made $10 million, and she makes like $7.5 million, because that's the life of a woman.
Or 9.75, and it's just like hanging right there.
Oh.
It's like, we're just gonna take a sliver off, just to shove it in your face that you're a woman.
We are very used to that.
But that didn't happen in this case. Yeah, made for $70 million. Opening weekend, the domestic opening weekend for Shrek 2 was $108 million.
Jesus.
And over its time, the domestic box office was $439.8 million.
Adjusted for inflation, this movie is the 38th highest grossing film of all time. Which 38's kind of high up there, but like still.
When you think about it, I mean, adjusted for inflation domestically, I think it's an $800 million.
That's fucking. This movie made so
domestic.
much goddamn money. But, you know, animated movies do because you have to take the kids, and that's extra tickets. Why do you think that Lilo and Stitch made so much money this weekend?
Jeez.
Like, Christ, how did it beat out Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible is making about what it usually makes.
Yeah.
But you're not taking your kids to see Mission Impossible.
You're not taking your kids to see a 3-hour Mission Impossible
I mean, my
movie.
friend and I are just now planning the day we're going to go see it.
Yeah, but that's only because you couldn't get in touch with him. If you could have gotten in touch with him, you would have already seen that
maybe,
film.
but I got to go watch that Bring Her Back movie from the directors of Talk to Me. So that was fun to do.
If the first one was Talk to Me and the next one was Bring It Back, is the third one going to be like, We Went There, or They Are Them, or something?
They Are Them. Yes. Non-binary horror film.
Oh, that'd be fun.
They Are Them. It made $488 million internationally for 2004 money. Yeah, made 900 with home media sales made $940 million in 2004. So almost $1 billion back 20 years ago. So yeah, massive hit.
Huge fucking hit.
Even if it only has an average of 78% from.
It's a sequel. It's not missing the charm of the first one.
But it wasn't like people went and saw it and they were just like, oh, skip this one.
No, they went and saw it and were like, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Like, you know, I was thoroughly entertained while watching it.
Those critics and audience scores make it seem like, it's all right. And then it made $1 billion.
Yeah, well, you still have to take your kids to see it. You still have to take your kids to see it a couple of times. They're going to want to buy the VHS. Like, you know, even mediocre movies can make a shit ton of money. I mean, look at Avatar.
Burn.
Yeah, fuck you,
That's
James
right.
Cameron.
Take James Cameron down a peg. He's enough pegs up.
He's enough pegs up.
Of course, being on this list means that it was at least nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film.
The first sequel to be nominated for Best Animated Film.
Okay. Has a sequel live-action movie ever been nominated?
I mean, yes.
For Best Picture?
Yeah, of course it has. I mean, The Godfather 2 was, right? It had to have been.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
It had to have
been. But this was the first sequel to be nominated for the animated.
Gotcha. It also was Accidentally in Love was also nominated, which is such a good
song. That's, you know what? Fuck. The soundtrack for Shrek 2 goes so much harder than the soundtrack for Shrek 1.
Oh, yeah.
Shrek 1 is like dorky and poppy and like fun.
Covers.
Great songs.
Some great covers on Shrek 2.
But Shrek 2, for nothing else, fucking Tom Waits' Little Drop of Poison.
I wish there was a longer version.
Well, there is.
Is there on the soundtrack?
Well, actually, if you go to Apple Music and try to listen to the soundtrack, that song's not available, probably due to like some sort of weird streaming rights. But you can just get the version that Tom Waits.
Type in "Little Drop of Poison" and get Tom Waits.
Yeah, because it's an old Tom Waits song. And
did he re-record it for this? Okay.
No,
so it's the original on his album.
Yeah, and that's just fucking the way that Tom Waits sounds.
Oh,
like I know. Bored 50 packs a day in. You know.
Oh, no. I have like 3 of his albums on vinyl.
My dad knows somebody who won an Oscar for a Tom Waits music video.
Nice.
Won an Oscar for a music video. And then he became an Uber driver.
Wait, how do you win an Oscar for a music video?
Short film, baby.
Counts as a short film?
It did in this case. I mean, it was a long time ago. Like, it was in the late 80s, early 90s, I think. Okay. Yeah. But, sup, John Lamb? You're not listening to this, but sup.
The Motorcycle Diaries won Best Song. But I thought you were talking about animation. I was like, huh? No. Yeah. They won Best Animation. No, they won Best Song, but it doesn't give what the song was called.
Oh.
Maybe it's self-titled. Maybe it's called The Motorcycle Diaries. The Polar Express has Believe, was the one that they were nominated for. Phantom of the Opera was Learn to Be Lonely. And the chorus, the movie The Chorus, had a song called Look to Your Path. So those were the nominated ones. And The Motorcycle Diaries won, but it doesn't say what song it won. And
Still, good on the Counting Crows for being nominated for an Oscar. I fucking love the Counting Crows. Their album, Recovering the Satellites, is flawless in my very humble opinion. That is a great goddamn album. Long December, holy shit, what a great song. And Accidentally in Love is a bop.
It's a good song.
It's a bop. Who won Best Animated
The
movie
Incredibles.
Yeah, fucking of course
it did, because it's a fantastic movie. I like Shrek too.
Not even
but
close.
It's not even close when it comes to The Incredibles. And of course, Shark Tale was the other nominee, which the fact that it was nominated means that there was no other animation from any other corner of the earth.
They're like, we can't do another Disney film, so just fucking give it to Shark Tale. It's not going to win.
Like, come on. This must have been before they started looking at things like anime and like stuff from beyond just
from other
America,
countries.
Because I guarantee you Taiwan had at least some sort of animation video that was better than Shark Tale.
Shark Tale?
Yeah.
I never have.
It's absolutely horrid.
Oh, yeah. It looked absolutely horrid. I mean, when did this movie come out again?
This is 2004.
Yeah, so I was a full-ass adult when this film came out. Yeah, no wonder I didn't see Shark Tale. I probably saw the trailer and went, that looks dumb.
I don't know. I mean, I probably watched it because Will Smith was doing a voice in it, but
you know
dumb.
what? Like, look, I'm all for making animated characters sexy, but what they did to that female fish can only be considered porn.
We have the Shrek 2 cast, and we already know everything there is to know about Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, fucking Wayne's World, Beverly Hills Cop, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, she did Cameron Diaz stuff.
Yeah.
Something about Mary. We'll throw it. Yeah, we'll give her that one.
When I think of Cameron Diaz, I think of the Spanish rap from Community, from the second ever episode of Community, where Abed and Troy are rapping in Spanish.
Diaz.
Yeah. The name of the goat is Cameron Diaz, is the last line of the song in Spanish. I didn't take Spanish, so I don't know what that is. I love Mike Myers to an extent. He got annoying there for a while.
Yes, I mean...
He got to be a bit too much.
Everything was great, probably up until The Love Guru.
Yeah, The Love Guru. I mean, no, like, it started to be a little bit overboard when Shrek 2 and Austin Powers 2 and 3 and 4 and 19 and 76.
Yeah, but at least Shrek, 3 and 4 were already post...
Austin Powers films. Yeah, but still, he kind of oversaturated the market there for a minute. And it got to be too much. But for me, like, I've talked once, I'll talk again. I would love to make it a bonus episode. Wayne's World will always be one of my most favorite films. Yeah. I quote Wayne's World daily. If nothing else, I'll just say to myself, Zang. Like, I love that movie. Eddie Murphy, too, let's hit and miss there for a while. Like, yeah, Shrek was great, but what about Meet the Tubmans? What was the name of that movie where he's all the different fat people that they've made fun of countless times? But Norbit and all those other films that he did.
What are you talking about?
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I thought you were still talking about Mike Myers. I was like trying to think in my head, like, Mike Myers.
Well, I mean, Fat Bastard.
He did Fat Bastard,
yeah.
But like I was trying to think of it. I was trying to think of another time he did that.
Yeah.
Yes, Eddie Murphy was another person who just banger after banger, great stuff.
Yeah, and then
comedy,
got
music,
to be a little
action hero.
Music?
He made music.
Yeah.
I'm not saying whether it's good or not, but he still made it.
Party All the Time is a fucking banger.
It is a banger.
That song's a goddamn banger.
So you can't say it.
Put that on some playlists of mine. Just all this to say, like, they've been around forever. We love them for everything that they've done. I kind of like that both of them have sort of like dipped back a little bit. And, obviously Shrek 5 is coming out next year. I think
it is next year.
And I will be, I would like to watch that movie first week it comes out. Absolutely. Maybe do an epic rewatch of all the Shreks leading up to it. But like, Shrek is not my favorite, Mike Myers or Eddie Murphy film, but the Shrek series are my favorite. It's my favorite Cameron Diaz films.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If that makes sense, because I don't have to look at her.
Damn.
I don't.
The Cameron Diaz.
I don't really like her.
What'd she ever do to you?
I don't know. I just kind of found her annoying.
She's fine. Like, Something About Mary's great. She was great in Charlie's Angels.
I never saw it.
So you gotta watch Charlie's Angels.
I don't know. She's just not she was always like, I always feel like
Doesn't
they were
blow
trying
your
to
skirt
shove
up.
her down my throat. And I was like, you know what? I'd much rather watch Rachel Weisz.
She was fine, and she kind of played like kind of a different kind of character when she was in Vanilla Sky.
Never saw it. I think that's the only Cameron Crowe movie I've never seen.
Ooh.
You know what? I mean...
Season 2,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Vanilla Sky.
If it's on the
You'll get
1001
3
movies...
people to listen to it. Or maybe I can finally convince people to just check it out once.
Yeah.
Just watch it once.
If it's on the 101 or 1001 movies to see before you die, then
If it's not on the 1,000 movie list, I'm just like, God damn.
You'd be amazed how many movies are not on the fucking list.
Sure.
We need to sit down and make our
Or we just
season
watch
2.
the season 2. All Criterion.
Oh, fuck.
We can only pick Criterion films.
Well, I mean, Inside Llewyn Davis.
No,
is,
there are a lot of a large variety of goofy to stupid to masterpieces on Criterion. They don't just keep like they don't have every movie in their library, but they do put in some where you're just like, really?
What
That's
would
a
you give
choice.
to go into that closet?
And just pick something?
Yeah.
And
Pick
talk
5 films.
Just talk about it.
And talk about it.
I would pick the dumbest ones though, because I watch other people do that, and I'm just like,
yeah, like of course you're picking The Godfather. You're just kissing ass at this point. Like
I'm
Jesus.
not. People don't pick The Godfather, and I would also not pick.
Well, yeah, no, but like some people are like, oh, I guess we'll pick like The Godfather, and like
that just means they haven't watched enough films,
Yeah.
and I feel like I haven't watched enough films to be allowed inside the Criterion closet.
Well, that's why I said, what would you give to be able to go into that
the
closet?
ability to watch more films and have more free time to watch more movies.
Well, who knows where this podcast is going?
Julie Andrews plays our queen.
Oh, fucking Julie, goddamn.
Because she is
Andrews.
our
She is
queen.
the queen. I mean, I think you're not allowed to dislike Julie Andrews. I don't think that there is any way that you physically can. I don't think
I don't
think
Some
that you're
people
allowed
dislike
socially.
Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz is
no.
Julie
No, you
Andrews,
can't
Sarah.
compare
Do
the
not
two.
make me come across this fucking table.
You can't compare the two. I
Like,
understand.
Julie Andrews is the goat. She is the queen. The day that she dies, the world will be there will be worldwide mourning.
Don't jinx it.
I would never. But, she's fucking Julie goddamn Andrews. I mean, she's done and been in everything, and she is flawless in every conceivable goddamn way. And yeah, I love that she, in her later life, she's like, oh, sure, you want me to be the voice of Lady Whistledown in Bridgerton? Sure. Pay me so much money so that I could just sit in my, what I would assume to be a home recording studio in her satin pajamas with her little dog on her lap. This is all conjecture. I don't know if any of this is for real. But she gets paid a shit ton of money to just be like,
Dearest reader, the time has come to place our bets for the upcoming social season. Consider the household of the Baron Featherington.
I don't know, I've watched every single episode of
I know
Bridgerton.
you
I love
have.
that. Fuck you. But, nowadays she's doing a lot of narration and a lot of animated stuff, and good for her. I don't remember the last time I've seen Mary Poppins. It's probably been... I don't think I've watched Mary Poppins in the time that you and I have been together as a couple. So it could be easily 20 plus years since the last time I watched Mary Poppins.
I have.
To be fair, I watched the Mary Poppins sequel a while back and it made me cry. But of course it did. I cried at everything.
I can't believe that she is turning 90 this year.
Holy shit.
October 1st is her birthday, and she's turning 90.
If she doesn't make it to 100, but Dick Van Dyke does, then what's the point in this world? If she dies before it happens, it's going to be a goddamn travesty of this world. You can't not love Julie Andrews in The Princess Diaries. She is the best part of those two films.
Of course she is.
I loved her. I mean, she's barely in Enchanted. She's just the narrator, but fuck it. I love Enchanted so goddamn much. Enchanted is such an underrated Disney classic and a banger of a goddamn movie and a great goddamn soundtrack. I love that movie so much. And she's done Victor Victoria. She's done...
The Sound of Music.
Yeah, The Sound of Music. She's done, Thoroughly Modern Millie, and she's fucking Julie Andrews. One of my favorite Ted Lasso scenes is where the Diamond Dogs are all standing together, and they're all
Diamond Dogs.
And they're all picking their favorite Julie Andrews films, and I just think it's really cute.
Wish I could remember who picked what.
Roy picked Mary Poppins.
Of course, you remember.
Trent Krim picked The Princess Diaries, and I think, the rest picked like Sound of Music. It was all kind of the top ones, but the fact that Trent Krim of The Independent picked, The Princess Diaries, everybody's like, fucking, I love that show so much. One little nugget that I learned is that until this movie, Julie Andrews and John Cleese had never met.
Wow.
Yeah. Which you'd think they would have bumped into each other at a party or something.
Some sort of,
fucking
or
a
have been in a
BAFTAs
movie
event
before.
No, this was the first time that they came
it took
together.
Till 2004 to put them together.
Yeah.
And they didn't even get to be together because it's voice acting.
Actually, they were.
Did they get to be together in a booth?
They recorded together.
Aww,
yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we get introduction. Well, let's go into John Cleese. I mean, John Cleese plays the king.
Fucking God damn it, John Cleese, the most.
You hear that voice, and immediately you're just like, motherfucking John Cleese.
While we were watching the film, Caveman turns and looks at me, and he's like, of course they got these two to be in this movie together. And I was like, you mean Helen Mirren and who's the other voice? I said the wrong names on purpose, and I don't remember what names I said. But I was like, you mean Eric Idle and Helen Mirren? And the way you looked at me, and then you started to like riff off of it.
I said I named another Python, and I said and Meryl Streep.
Yes. You're like, you mean Terry Gilliam and Meryl Streep? And I was like, yeah. I love that you and I can joke around like that. But fucking, if you don't know who John Cleese is at this point, guys, then what are you doing with your life? Caveman.
Yes.
Our Audible accounts are linked because our Amazon accounts are linked. I have John Cleese's autobiography as read by the man himself.
Oh my goodness.
It's a delight.
I bet it is.
Of course it is, but it's a delight. I also have Eric Idle's, and I probably should just round out and get the Palin's as well. Yeah. But
there should be a moment on one of the, like on Cleese's and on Idle's, both of their audiobooks should have the other person walking in and then having like an argument.
I think famously they're not big
fans. They're not
other.
fans of each other, which would make it even funnier and just keep up the whole these
charade that they kind of hate each other.
Yeah, they actually do not care for each other anymore.
Sucks, but. The thing about Eric Idle's autobiography is that he so casually name drops that it's ridiculous. And of course he does, because he knew everybody from the Python eras to now. Like, everybody knows fucking Eric Idle. But he's like, I was on a yacht in Majorca with David Bowie and fucking Prince, and George Harrison called and happened to be in Spain, and so we all went over and had dinner at his house, and it was lovely that night. And you're just like, what is your life, Eric Idle? What is your life that you're on a boat with all of these people?
They're
like, in the Maldives.
Those
like,
guys
what the
are just,
fuck?
Those guys are like the Beatles for comedy.
The Ruddles, yeah. No, they really were. And I kind of like, it doesn't surprise me that Eric Idle's autobiography is so name-droppy, because he seems to be the one that people like more. Because John Cleese has always been
I've always been like the guy who's just like, John Cleese is everybody's favorite, right? Right? And John Cleese is everybody's favorite.
Yeah,
right?
but I think...
Right? Those you guys in the back? Yes?
In real life, John Cleese is a much bigger asshole than Eric Idle. So I'm not surprised that Eric Idle made friends and kept friends, whereas John Cleese just kind of lived a more secluded life and, just did what he wanted to do.
John Cleese gives me Bill Murray vibes.
1,000%.
As far as, like,
he shows up when he wants to.
I have a special number.
Yeah.
If you want to get a hold of me, I may not ever pick it up, but if I do,
I'll do it if I want to.
I'll do it if I want to.
No bets. I said this recently, but my introduction to Monty Python, British humor, and John Cleese in general was Fawlty Towers. And that show will remain one of the greatest television shows of all time, in my very humble and very right opinion. He's a delight, and he's fun in this movie. We didn't really talk about Julie Andrews in Shrek 2. We just kind of talked about what she's done. But King Harold and Queen Lillian...
She doesn't have a lot to do, really. Because it's more about the king coming to terms that his daughter's marrying somebody that he doesn't approve of.
Yeah. Very Guess Who Came to Dinner vibes.
Well, the writer of Shrek 2 did that on purpose.
Well, yeah.
He even name dropped Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Is it a little uncomfortable to watch that whole thing these days after like the Black Lives Matter movement? And
is it hard to watch a movie like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
No, is it? I guess for me to watch Shrek and to see how they were using the allegory of Shrek being an ogre and meeting his white wife's parents.
I think it tells.
But it's also
I think it's a
Mike
way of,
Myers.
Well, I think it's a good way to tell a good story and good lesson to kids and
about
you're taking your
interracial families.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, like obviously.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what you're bumping into.
I think it's just I don't know. I don't think that they could get away with it today. That they'd
basically
be like
copying Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
With the use of a white man playing an ogre, yes.
But
I don't know, it just made me feel weird.
But they're not directly doing a race thing. They're doing an ogre versus humans thing.
But they are but it's a
reference to
it's a very heavily referenced thing too.
It's not heavily, it's a reference. It's
heavily.
Well, yes, this guy
like King Harold does not like Shrek.
Right.
It'd be like if I brought home Jesse L.
Heavily
Martin
would be
from
that Shrek was a black man. That's heavily.
Maybe Shrek should have been a black man.
He's an ogre. Would you have rather have been Donkey and the dragon? And Donkey's the one who's not allowed to dinner?
I just want to know how they had sex. Like, that's all. It will bother me till the end of time. How did they procreate? Did he walk inside of her? Like, I'm sorry, but the size difference is untoward.
Always comes down to sex with you.
You're welcome. I don't know.
Anyway.
I thought it was weird. And I can't explain it, and maybe it was just me. It was probably just my own white guilt being like, I don't know if I should be laughing at this. Is this okay? Is it all right, everybody? Can I find this funny?
I think it's because it's a parody, and it's not heavily referencing it, but it is giving you a wink and nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, snap, snap, grin, grin, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
John Cleese and Julie Andrews have great chemistry, I think, in this film, which is kind of hard to have through an animated film. I enjoyed seeing them together, and I think it's cute that he's a frog.
I thought it was fun that at the very end, he ends up being the prince, the frog that was turned into a prince that became a king, and now you're seeing him go back to a frog again. I thought it was clever.
And if you watch the movie again, knowing it, you can see a lot of lily pad imagery and frog imagery surrounding King Harold.
God damn it.
You see a lot of like swamp and pond and like lily pad imagery there.
I definitely missed that.
Yeah.
All 20 times I've seen this movie. Actually, no, this one, Shrek 1, I've definitely seen like a couple dozen times.
Oh, yeah, I've seen Shrek 1 so much more than I've seen Shrek 2.
This one's probably less than a dozen.
I think I've seen this movie less than 5 times. It doesn't bear repeat viewing, per se. I can guarantee you that
it's not as repeatable and as funny and clever
No.
as the original.
I definitely haven't seen Shrek 3 or 4 more than once.
Correct. I have seen Shrek 3, and I think I saw parts of Shrek 4.
Didn't we see Shrek 4 in the theater together?
Did we? Wasn't that the one with...
Justin Timberlake? That was the third one. That was the one we saw.
The fourth one is with...
Rumpelstiltskin?
Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, I think he's in the... fourth one. Yeah, I know. That's like I said.
I mean, I guess we'll find out when we rewatch the entire series to watch Shrek 5
we're gonna do
next year.
Antonio Banderas makes his debut in the Shrek world, where he stays for a very long time.
He is the best part of this film, but that's not surprising.
He's great, and Puss in Boots is great.
But Puss in Boots is great. I don't think I remembered how quickly Puss in Boots turns from being an adversary to Shrek to his companion. It's literally minutes.
Oh yeah, it is. It's like at first you're like, oh yeah, he's going to try to kill him. How does this work out? And then you find out, oh, he gave up instantly. And was just like, oh, I'm on your side now.
Very anti-cat, because most cats I know are like, I don't like you and I never will, Robin.
And it's very anti what Puss ends up being.
Yes.
We're going to try to watch the first Puss in Boots before
We're going to try to watch the first Puss in Boots before we watch Puss in Boots The Last Wish,
which is the third one.
I was talking with my coworkers the other day, and I was like, we just watched Shrek 2, and we have to watch Puss in Boots The Last Wish soon. And my coworker was like, oh, I watched that last night. was like, really? She was like, yeah, that's a great fucking movie, and I love it.
Last Wish might be better than any Shrek movie.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sad that I haven't seen it yet, but I am at this point as soon as I found out that it was on the list, I was like, well, I have to hold out to watch it for the first time for the show. But I would go watch it right now because of what I've heard people say about it and the fact that the nerds that I love The Last Wish.
It's so good. And it's funny because The Last Wish is the third film from a spin-off of a second film of a sequel to based off of a book.
Yeah.
and
it's sort of renowned for...
and that movie is possibly better than anything that came before it.
Yeah.
Which is insane that they did something like that.
I mean, I still
haven't...
the
second movie went straight to home video.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think when they announced Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, everybody was like, "Oh Christ!"
Yeah, and everybody was just like, "Oh, they made a third one."
So they made a third one.
Actually,
Antonio Banderas got a paycheck.
I think most people are like, "Oh, they made a second one," and then found out, "Oh, this is the third one."
Yeah,
because the second one was.
But I'm very excited to watch that sometime in the next 6 weeks because it's coming soon. It's coming down the pipe real fast.
Real fast.
I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to cry about it. And I'm not surprised that it's so good because, I mean, I haven't seen Paddington in Peru, but Paddington 2 still is one of the greatest films ever made. I need to sit your ass down and make you watch...
single Paddington.
Well, fucking then let's watch all the Paddingtons sometime soon.
Paddington 1, it's on the list.
Maybe once we're done with this podcast and can watch movies for fun again. What's that like? I don't even remember.
Well, we do watch them for fun. We watch them, the ones that we think are completely ridiculous and
we do,
dumb, that we're definitely not covering on the
Antonio
podcast.
Banderas is in Paddington in Peru. Fun. Antonio Banderas has been in 800,000 things.
For
Desperado, The Mask of Zorro, The 13th Warrior.
So 13th Warrior, so good.
Yeah, he was in Baby Girl, I guess. I didn't see it, but...
It is on my list.
Yeah.
There was another movie that was very recent that I was like, oh, he's in that. Oh, Uncharted, I think it was.
Yeah.
Right now, I don't remember him in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, he was the dude on the boat that gets killed.
Of course.
I know that doesn't make much sense, but remember, like, they get picked up on the boat, and they're on the boat for a while.
I've only seen the movie once.
I know, I have too, but
sucks because I liked it.
I enjoyed it too. Yeah, it was fun. I kind of liked the ending of it too. I wish that I think that Indiana Jones should have stayed.
He should have stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we never would have gotten the resolution with Marion. But
I didn't need it.
Nonetheless, this man has raked in money because of Puss in Boots. Like he really doesn't ever have to work again because the money he has made doing various different stupid fucking shit. I mean, Scared Shrekless, which is hard to say, Shrek's Yule Log, fucking Donkey's Caroling Christmas Tacular.
I mean, they've all done all of them. Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, they've all.
They're getting paid to just sit in a booth in their jams.
These videos are only they're less than 15 minutes long. They're just little shorts.
Shrek the Halls.
Yeah, they're just Shrek shorts that just like they've been doing with. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy did it with Baby Groot,
but not to the extent that Shrek has.
Shrek's...
And Shrek, Baby Groot did it, and they got fucking Bradley Cooper, you're already recording lines for Endgame. Can you spend 15 minutes recording these little lines for this little, Baby Groot show? Sure. Like fucking Faraway Idol, like all of the shit that he's done for Puss in Boots. I have not seen The Legend of Zorro since it came out, but I do remember watching Catherine Zeta-Jones in that movie and being like, why do I feel something strange in my body?
Wait, Catherine Zeta's in The Legend of Zorro? Oh, yeah, I guess she's in the first one, too.
Yeah.
Mask of Zorro is amazing.
Mask of Zorro is the first one. Sorry. I forgot The Legend of Zorro is the second one.
She's in both of them.
Yeah.
Fuck, her and him in Desperado.
Yeah.
Great.
He's one of those sexy Hispanic actors, and he's gorgeous. The 13th Warrior is by far possibly my favorite Antonio Banderas movie.
It's so good.
That movie is perfection, and it's one of those films that you're like, you haven't seen it, sit your ass down, we're watching it, because that's what happened. I believe I watched it at my friend Batch's house, and she was like, holy shit, you haven't seen this, sit down. And then you were like, holy shit, you haven't seen this in a long time, sit down.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great film, and it's so much different than what you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching it and being like, Vikings?
Yeah, Vikings.
What the fuck is Antonio Banderas doing in a Viking movie?
And he's playing an
He's playing an Arabic man in that movie. He's playing...
I just don't remember where he's...
No, I don't.
If they ever say where he's...
It is possible.
Traveling from, because I know he's traveling from somewhere with his friend to get to these Vikings, and then...
He is a Middle Eastern man in this movie.
And then they travel to another part of a country. I don't even know what country. That would be a great movie to rewatch.
You fell asleep to it not too long ago, and I think I watched like the first half an hour before I turned it off.
It was late.
Yeah, but it's 13th Warrior.
I forget that he's in Interview with a Vampire.
Oh yeah, he plays Armand, I think. Yeah.
Rupert Everett.
Rupert Everett.
Great British actor. Been in a ton of stuff. I mean, My Best Friend's Wedding.
With Cameron Diaz. Rupert Everett, is a great, charming British actor. He's...
acting since the 80s.
Yeah. He's suave. He's smarmy. He's just sort of the perfect guy to get for this role where you're like, I need a douchebag British guy. And I need Rupert Everett.
Oh, Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah. Which I've only seen once and did not enjoy.
Midsummer Night's Dream. Wild Thornberries.
Yeah, he played the bad guy in the Wild Thornberries. Inspector Gadget. Yoicks. Oh, Inspector Gadget has a 4.2 on IMDb.
Inspector Gadget was a terrible movie.
I know. Oh, The Importance of Being Earnest, which he stars in with Colin Firth and Reese Witherspoon and Frances O'Connor, is a delight of a goddamn movie.
He's also in Chronicles of Narnia as Mr. Fox.
The Chronic, what?
Chronicles of Narnia. He's also Secundus in Stardust, one of the brothers.
Yes. He's great in that.
He is.
Stardust is such a great
everybody in Stardust
I know,
is
it's
great.
a perfect film.
It is.
It's really one of my go-to casual viewing movies because it's
that's
so
what we
easy
should have
to sit
after
down
watching.
and watch.
We recently, a little peek behind the curtain, we also recently watched Taxi Driver.
Oh boy.
So Stardust would be a great palate cleanser after Taxi Driver.
Yeah,
to see him go from that character in Taxi Driver to the very
flamboyant drag queen
pirate.
Yeah, pirate.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was a good one. Have you ever seen any production of The Importance of Being Earnest? The Oscar Wilde story?
I know it was a movie, but I don't think I ever watched it.
I think you would enjoy that version.
I was thinking, when you said it, I think I was thinking of What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, no.
Definitely not that.
Definitely not that. It's such a charming movie, and everybody in it's great, and it's a really fun story. I've seen a few different versions, stage and film versions of The Importance of Being Earnest. My favorite version of it, though...
I should have said, no, I never saw that Ernest movie.
Oh, boy. I've come across this. For that, I'm going to give you this because you have to edit through it.
Thanks.
You're welcome. But no, my favorite Importance of Being Earnest thing that has ever been done was when it was on Broadway. The main two actors who played the two main characters, including one of them was Santino Fontana, who is the voice of Prince Hans and Frozen, and is on My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Who is this Hans?
And he's very cute and he's very adorable. But they did, it was basically The Importance of Being Earnest meets the Jersey Shore, where they're very British, very refined, early, 20th century characters are saying lines spoken on the Jersey Shore, and it's a fucking riot.
Oh my goodness, I bet that is.
It's what I've watched those series so many times. It's one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever seen, and it'll be totally worth watching with you later. Next on the list is Jennifer Saunders. She plays the fairy godmother. She does a great fucking job, by the way.
She's one of the most...
She's so fucking fun.
Like of course, you've got your group.
Yeah.
Your main group from the first movie that you like. And then I think Jennifer Saunders and Antonio Banderas are like the two new people.
They're the best parts of the new cast.
The new cast. And of course, she doesn't go on again because she kind of meets her demise in this movie. She does.
We have already talked about Jennifer Saunders when we covered her in Coraline. Of course, known for Absolutely Fabulous, French and Saunders, 8,000 other British things that you have seen. She's an incredible actress, but she fucking slays the house down boots in this film. She's so good in that role. She's so good at the singing. Her version of Holding Out for a Hero is fantastic. Like, she really is. I don't really remember the villains from Shrek 3 and Shrek 4, but compared to Lord Farquaad, who is phenomenal, I still think she's kind of the better villain. She's so conniving and she's so much fun. And her and Rupert Everett have so much fun together. Those characters are just a delight.
I wonder if the two of them were in the same...
It didn't say on IMDb, but I would like to think that they probably have known each other for ages.
It just seemed to, like, because I can only imagine that that's the reason why the king and queen were together. Is you can kind of work off of each other.
Yeah.
And I could see those two, or mother and son.
It did say on IMDb that she recorded all of her stuff in England. So I don't know.
You don't think Rupert Everett was in England
I don't. It didn't say, so I can't, I can't say, but...
He was in Australia that
year. They have a lot of, like, those characters. I would love to see them in real life playing those characters because, you've got this fabulous gay man and this fabulous gay man in both of them. And it's just, it's great. To round out the cast, of course, I just want to note that Larry King has a small part in it as the ugly stepsister. In England, that character is played by Jonathan Roth. And... Joan Rivers also has a small cameo as the red carpet interviewer. And I miss Joan Rivers constantly. I mean, I am kind of glad that there are a few celebrities I'm sort of glad were gone before the Trump and the COVID of it all. Because you got to imagine, I don't think she supported Trump whatsoever. In fact, I'm pretty sure she hated them. But, like a lot of celebrities have left a bad taste in my mouth in the last 5-6 years with everything that's gone on, and I don't know how she would have held up, but Joan Rivers was fucking great when she was here. And if you ever have the chance, they devoted an episode of Celebrity Ghost Story to Joan Rivers' ghost story, and it's a great episode. But I miss her daily. And Larry King is still kicking. When I think of him on 30 Rock when he and Tracy Jordan kind of whip New York into a frenzy. And I also think about kind of a more recent interview he did with Danny Pudi.
A luxury you can't live without.
A luxury I can't live without. Coffee. I really like good coffee. It's not a
luxury. You can get it anywhere.
I guess, I like good coffee.
I love coffee, too.
I like nice socks.
Socks? Your socks, would you put in your shoes?
Yeah, I really love them. I like kind of like, cozy feet.
You're attracted to your socks.
I'm attracted to really nice running socks. Like, I'm always looking for good running socks.
That's not a luxury, though. Coffee and socks are not a luxury.
All right, give me a luxury. What luxury should I have?
Private plane.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales.
I think that exchange never fails to make me giggle really hard. But yeah, so they're kind of the two big celebrity cameos of the movie. But yeah, that's the cast of Shrek 2. It's a solid cast. It's a solid film. Like, I didn't write a lot of notes for it because I was kind of too busy watching it. I did write down, they're getting all the references because, again, this movie relies a little too heavily on pop culture references. So much more than Shrek 1. Shrek 1 at least had that fairy tale charm to it, right? And not every single scene had to have some pop culture or modern reference to it. And I feel like in the second one, they're like, everybody liked the references. Fucking shove them in there. Like, just fist them right down your fucking throat. And it was distracting for me while watching this film. But that being said, the music, top notch. Yeah. I mean, we've already talked about Tom Waits and Counting Crows. The cinematography of the film is really great. Specifically in the scene where Shrek is at dinner with Fiona's family and he's at the head of the table and that giant stuffed fucking eagle is looming over him with its claws out. Yeah. Like that.
It was some great imagery.
That is a great image. And Donkey is just our younger child, especially when they don't have their phone and are bored in the back seat. I was watching that part and I was just like, oh my God, that's our kid.
Are we there yet? Are we there? Well, maybe not so much that, but still just...
You're
hyper aware that he exists back there.
I also did find it interesting, in terms of story-wise. We always see these fairy tales that end in this couple who's barely known each other. Let's be real honest here. They've barely known each other, getting married and supposedly living happy ever after. Marriage is so much more than that, right? You don't just meet the love of your life and get married and everything is, roses and daisies. Like, marriage is hard. And I found it very interesting that this movie shows how hard marriage can be, and your need to compromise, your need to be open and honest with each other, your need to not be stubborn, right? Like, because all of these things were huge roadblocks in Fiona and Shrek's marriage, because these two did not know each other. They fell in love, they got married, and then it came down to like, oh, well, what about the families? What about the, the obligations? What about the weird racist dad in the corner? Like, what about all of this stuff? And Shrek responded in the way that Shrek does, which is, to put up a wall and to, run from it because he doesn't want to be bothered. I found that very interesting. I found that very kind of fun, that's how they viewed marriage, especially through a fairy tale lens. And like, you have to change for your partner. And your partner has to change for you, which is something that the men in my family has never fully ever come to terms with, the fact that they have to change to keep the people that they love in their life. Caveman and I are not the same people that we were when we got married, and we've had to change a lot over the years, and you have to compromise, and you have to talk things out, and you have to be willing to kind of put your ego aside and be like, it's more important to me to take care of my partner in this moment than to take care of myself. It's about selflessness. And I thought that was interesting in the midst of all of the fucking pop culture references.
Yeah.
And a banging soundtrack. One of my favorite parts is when Shrek and Donkey and Puss in Boots get pulled over by the cops and they grind a peppermill into their eyes. Instead of pepper spray, somebody's got a fucking peppermill. Oh, that killed me. And also, like, this might be controversial, but I don't know where it stands on the internet, but Shrek as a human, not hot. He's not hot as an ogre, but he's definitely not hot as a human. Just let that silence settle in.
He's hot as an ogre, but not
He's not hot as an ogre, but he's even less hot as a human.
Oh.
I guess, which means that I guess he is more attractive as an ogre than he is as a human, but as a human, I was just like, I don't know, I was not impressed by human Shrek.
Those women, I think you just have too high standards.
Yeah, because Oscar Isaac exists. But human Shrek is definitely not on my hot cartoons list. But neither is regular Shrek. I mean, I'd even put Puss in Boots above them.
Even though this movie has 1,000 references in it.
800,000,
to every sections of pop culture and history up to that point. I always have a little giggle when they first arrive in Far, Far Away, when Donkey is seeing it for the first time, and he's looking around up at everything.
He's looking up at the palm trees.
And just the palm trees are going past them, and Funky Town is playing.
Is that a direct reference to Beverly Hills Cop?
It's pretty... I think it is.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
Now, in Beverly Hills Cop, they're playing The Heat Is On.
Yeah.
And in Shrek, it was Funky Town.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say that that's because of rights we're not given.
You want to know what? I have never seen Beverly Hills Cop.
God damn it.
My dad, all of the movies that we watched growing up, for the most part, were films that my dad liked. It was all our pop culture had to center around his tastes because he was in control of the TV all the time.
I can understand people in general, though, like just not being into Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I can understand him not being.
He's always been a lot, that guy.
Yeah.
But I also,
looking back at it, I was just like, man, I wish I was more into Eddie Murphy.
But you know what? Because we watched Coming to America a lot. So maybe he just didn't like Beverly Hills Cop. Or maybe if he was going to watch Beverly Hills Cop, I'm not fucking watching this, and went into my room and played with my Barbies. So, but it's not a movie that I've seen. But yeah, him and that palm tree gag of looking up at the person who's looking up at the palm trees has been done a billion times.
But I don't know if Beverly Hills Cop was referencing it something else,
or if they were the first ones to do it. Well, maybe we'll find out if we ever do.
It just happens. It's like the thing you do.
Yeah, it's the thing you do.
It is the thing you do when you go to Hollywood, and that could be, you're in Hollywood. Here's the palm trees, and you're just like, wow, I'm in Hollywood.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that specific street is in Bel Air, and not Hollywood itself.
Well, and I mean, the whole look of the whole look of the movie was
the whole look of
Beverly
Far Far Away
Hills.
is like Hollywood, Beverly Hills. The fact that it has like Far Far Away and the giant like letters on the hill, like Hollywood.
No, it's supposed to be an instant like.
Yeah, you're supposed to know like.
Because it has to reference all pop culture.
It literally has to reference all pop culture at all times. I was recently watching Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping by myself. And that movie has, I kid you not, at least 3 jokes a minute. Yeah. That movie is so stuffed with fucking jokes. And almost all of them land. Like, honestly, like I laugh at every single one of them except for the bee skit. Because I never really liked it. The killer bees that are attacking off screen. That's the only part that I'm like,
caught on camera.
Okay, like that's not my favorite part, but whatever. It's still pretty funny. But I don't think that movie has as many jokes as Shrek 2 has references. Like, it's too much. I mean, Friar's Fat Boy? How many people are going to get that? I got it because my mom worked at a Bob's Big Boy for years.
I mean, in 2004, people are getting these jokes.
Yeah, no, in 2004, people...
Maybe not little kids.
God. Oh, what are the references in Shrek 5 going to be like? Like, at what point does Shrek dab in Shrek 5? Because he's going to. And they're going to make Spider-Man references because Zendaya's in it. And, like, one of the characters is going to get upset at the other characters for being awake and instead of woke. No. And it's going to be fucking cringe, and they're going to use that word. Zendaya's going to be like, oh my God,
I mean,
Dad,
some of these
things
you're talking about. I mean, Trek Forever After 4 was 2010. So, yes, they do have
16 years
to pull from.
Oh, Christ.
So,
and they're going to want to, they're going to want to get the modern audiences, the modern kids in on it. So there's going to be...
Oh, no.
There's going to be a K-pop joke.
There better not be Skibbity Toilet in Shrek.
Oh my God! There's going to be a Taylor Swift reference. Like,
there might be Taylor Swift music.
Oh, I'd be totally down for that. She owns all her music now. I'm so happy for her. The main walk away that I have from Shrek 2 is what a good goddamn soundtrack it is. I mean, Frou Frou's cover, the fact that they have 2 covers of Holding Out for a Hero is insane. But Frou Frou's version. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Tom Waits, fucking Nick Cave. For me, I think that my favorite part about that movie is the soundtrack for sure.
When we watch 3 and 4, leading up to 5, in the far future, I'm hoping that music choices stay, because I don't remember anything about 3 and 4's music.
I don't know, but I hope that it has slightly modern and also slightly,
I really like 2 because it had a lot of good covers. Like, they were mostly all covers.
They were mostly all covers,
a few exceptions.
Yeah.
But, this movie also cost only $20 million more than the first one, which...
I mean, that's 2 of the cast members right there.
Well, everybody got paid a lot more. But it's very surprising because the animation quality, comparing 1 to 2, specifically clothing textures changed incredibly a lot between...
Mm-hmm. I mean, Pixar to thank for that.
The dresses, the way dresses flowed when people walked, where it was more, just had that more realistic flow. And hair. The fairy godmother had glitter in her hair, and you could see the individual glitter pieces in those individual hairs.
Puss himself
had a lot of hair. Yeah, it was a big upgrade from 1 for only 3 years in between. Yeah, 3 years in between movies, and
animation
an extra
technology
20 million,
moved quickly.
But
back
having
then.
to pay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, more than likely, the animators were probably grossly underpaid.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were, because they always have been.
You want to see all the hard work that people put into
rewarded for it. Yeah,
especially animators and CG effects people. They are so incredibly underpaid and overworked, and a lot of these animation houses are going out of business because they can't keep up with the workload.
Yeah,
because they're promising a certain amount of workload in a certain amount of time for a certain price. And a lot of times...
I mean, fuck, look what happened to Rhythm and Hues.
A lot of times they agree on a price and they can't ask for more.
Yeah.
But then...
They need more.
But then they end up needing more because more man hours are needed for the amount of animation they're having to do. But so you end up with animators who are being grossly underpaid or working for pretty much nothing.
And working like 18, 20-hour days.
Insane hours.
Yeah.
So because of all that, because they end up quitting or the animation houses can't keep up until they go out of business. So
Hollywood, pay your fucking people. Then.
Yeah, or else we're not going to have these people.
Yeah, we're not going to have
make
these
your
films.
movies.
And like, they're all going to be AI
Spread all those billions of dollars you're making off of.
Your CEO doesn't need another boat. What would you rate Shrek 2?
I would give Shrek 2 a 3.5.
I agree. Yeah, I don't remember what I gave Shrek, but I can't imagine it was lower than a 4. This film is fun, and it's entertaining, and it's goofy, and the music's great, and, the story is what it is, and the references are too much. But, like, ultimately, it's a sequel. It's a little mid. A 3.5 for me, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah. And that doesn't make it a bad film.
Absolutely not. No, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
3.5 is perfectly fine score for...
It's, it's the 7.2% on IMDb or whatever it was. It's like, you're like, how could people give this movie such a bad score? And then you're like,
it's a 70%. No, I was saying, I understand, I just gave it 70%.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's 70%, but it still made $1 billion.
Honey, how much money and time did we give to the movie theaters before our children were born? Well, a lot less money because we snuck into a lot of films. But we gave them a lot of time. And on a hot summer day and your kids are driving you crazy and you want a couple hours to just disassociate, you took them to the movies.
No, I understand
especially
that.
A kids movie that's mildly entertaining for the adults.
And when you see the poster, you're like, oh yeah, I saw the first one. That'll be fun to watch.
I'll see the second one.
I'll take the kids
The
to see
first one
that.
was great. The second one's going to be fun.
It'll be fun. And you see it and you're like, all right.
Hey, Shrek 2. Well, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? So, Maggie.
Yes, Caveman.
I have 2 questions for you.
Hit it.
I had determined that the memory of my evils should die with me. But it is all true. I had a vision, an idea, took shape in my mind. In seeking life, I created death.
Okay, so no joke, I was making a face at you at the very beginning of that because I thought for a second that they were lines from Apocalypse.
Oh.
And I was like, choices.
He was kind of delivering those first lines as Apocalypse.
Like, very Apocalypse-esque. And I was like, and then it took me a second.
Like, why are we listening to Apocalypse
First of all,
clips now?
Excellent timing, sir. Second of all, Frankenstein looks so fucking good.
Yes. Everybody, that is an edited clip from the trailer for Frankenstein coming out on Netflix this November.
Yeah, I'm so fucking excited. Like, oh my god. Dude, he was so hot at that da-dum. Which, by the way, stupid fucking name for your convention. Name. Jesus Christ, Netflix. Just call it NetCon or something, but ta-dum.
Like, I'd be happy to sponsor you guys and talk about your movies.
Let you sponsor us.
But I'm going to give you...
Please give us money.
I'm going to give you honest reviews, though, because most of your movies suck ass.
Yeah, dude. But I think Frankenstein's going to be great.
I think it'll be a good time. I don't know if it'd be like a great movie.
Oh, no. But it's going to be a great time.
It's going to be great. I hope it's fun. It's Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro does great
No, he does,
things.
but he also makes really cheesy, the kind of horror that you really dig, because it's...
Well, he did...
it's like B... It's B horror. Like, it's...
But it's good B horror.
I'm not saying that it's bad. By saying B, I'm not doing it the way you meant B sci-fi. B horror is like it's.
I know it's an art unto itself.
Yeah, it's got a whole vibe that's completely different than any kind of horror.
It looked so big and so fast, and the costumes.
I'm guessing because it's Netflix that they just let Guillermo del Toro do whatever he wants. So
he did the Tom Hiddleston incest horror movie, right? What was the name of that?
Tom Hiddleston incest?
Yeah, the movie where Tom Hiddleston and Jessica Chastain are, and it's like a gothic romance with fucking what's her face from Alice in Wonderland, and is none of this ringing a bell? Dark Crimson something. Hold on, I'm pulling up IMDb. Crimson Peak. That was a Guillermo del Toro movie, right?
It was.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see that? How have I seen that and you haven't? Oh, it's good. Fucking Mia Wasikowska she was Alice from the Alice in Wonderland films. Charlie Hunnam, who I don't remember, but I'm sure he was terrible in it. Jessica Chastain. Fucking, it's a good. Of course, Doug Jones is in it because, of course, he is.
Of course, he is. He's in almost every Guillermo del Toro movie.
But it's a gothic romance horror film, and it's really good. I can't believe I've seen that and you haven't. But yeah, I have every faith that Frankenstein is going to be really great. And even if it's not, it's still fucking Oscar Isaac running around with that accent and those clothings.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm excited too because it's also got Mia Goth in it, and it's got Jacob Elordi
who
from
plays
Saltburn,
the monster.
who plays the monster.
That's gonna be
Christoph
good.
Waltz and Charles Dance.
Yeah.
And Bern Gorman, who's the weird British-looking guy who was in...
I almost brought him up because he was also in Crimson Peak.
He's in Dark Knight, and Rises, and he's also in...
Torchwood.
Jack Harkness.
Yeah, he was in Torchwood
series.
Yeah, no, I almost brought him up because he's also in Crimson Peak.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, maybe I should talk about them. I was like, no, I'm not going to go into him, but you did. Haha, nerds.
Well, he's got that look.
He's got that face, yeah.
And as soon as you see him, you're just like...
he was also in fucking... what was the robot versus monster films that Guillermo did? Pacific Rim. Oh, he must be good friends with Guillermo del Toro at this point. Because I wonder if he's in Pinocchio. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for Frankenstein, and thank you for choosing that trailer. Well done, sir. Immediately, as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, fucking apocalypse, yikes. And then I was like, wait a minute. You could see my face melting from horror into like, oh.
Like,
So, I mean, I've only watched the trailer once, but I'm so excited.
So anyway, back to the point of the segment.
What? Huh? What? Oscar Isaac? Who? What?
Yeah, Oscar Isaac. Do you think he would have made Shrek 2 a better movie? Go from a 70 to maybe a 80? 81 and a half?
That's a tough one because, you know what? Sure, I might have enjoyed it more. I don't know. I might have enjoyed it more just knowing he was in it, honestly. I might have been like, oh, Oscar's in this. And then I would have gotten to a scene and been like, oh, hard eyes. And then gone on with my life. But yeah, I might have liked it a little bit more. So sure.
All right, well, question number 2.
Oh, tough one.
Who would you have had Oscar Isaac play?
Now, on the one hand, we could have put him in as a small cameo like the ugly stepsister. Or he could have been delightful as Prince Charming. But I would have loved to have seen Oscar Isaac's Puss in Boots. I would love to see Oscar Isaac's pussy.
Oh my God. Wow.
So, yeah, as much as I adore Antonio Banderas, especially in this role, I would say make Oscar Isaac Puss in Boots because mama like. And that has been this week's episode of Movie Mingle on Shrek 2, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. As ever, thank you so much for listening, for making it 68 episodes in. We only have a very small handful to go, which is insane, and I'm very excited to reach the end and to take a break. Let's be real honest here. But yeah, we're excited for the last... oh my God, 7 episodes to come, which is insane. And I don't like thinking about it all that much, actually. So anyways, join us next week when we will be talking about the historic film classic Taxi Driver, which I still don't even have an opinion on yet because, what did I just watch? And Caveman and I have not talked about it yet, so it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting conversation because that movie is something. As always, you can find us on Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd at MovieMinglePod. You can find us on YouTube at MovieMinglePodcast, and write us any of your thoughts, concerns, questions, or comments on favorite songs from Shrek at movieminglepod@gmail.com. We love getting your emails. Please feel free to leave us 5 stars or whatever you feel we deserve on your podcast platform of choice. And even though we will be taking a break here in a little bit and working on season 2, please tell your friends, family, and loved ones and worst enemies about our silly little show, because why not? We're having fun here, and hopefully you're having fun with us. So spread the good word. Join us next week. But until then, take good care of yourselves in this big, wide, crazy world of yours. Be safe out there. And remember, we're all just holding out for a hero. Now go mingle. Bye.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Me llamo T-Bone, la araña discoteca.
Discoteca, muñeca, la biblioteca. Es el bigote grande, pero manteca.
Manteca, bigote, gigante, pequeño. Cabeza es nieve, cerveza es bueno.
Buenos días, me gustas papas frías. Bigote de la cabra, es Cameron Díaz. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
What? It's 2009.
Word.
Are you an effective team?
We are an effective team.
Let them fight.
How did you just do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
Here on Caladan, we've ruled by air power and sea power. On Arrakis, we need to cultivate desert power.
Welcome, Mr. Beach. What's that bar? I'm a little confused.
Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. What is that?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Toga, toga, toga.